SpeedGrade offers several ways to apply the color and tonality of one clip to another clip, to match clips. In a separate lesson, I talked about the automated approach to do that. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about several manual methods to do that. To follow along, open up SpeedGrade. I want you to open up the SG Match project, which may already be in your recent projects list. If it's not, just click on Open Project, go to Working Files, Premiere Pro Projects, and open up SG Match. And then click Open. Now, a good workflow is to do the automated match look first, and then tweak the results. So I'm going to show you how to do that with this first example. I want to take this source, this clip over here, and apply that look to another clip. And I'm going to use the automated approach to do that. So to set that up, I click on the 2-up button. That adds a new playhead. Take that new playhead and slide it to the right here. Something like that. So now we have playhead 1 here, which is on the right. And playhead 2 is on the left. And we're going to fix the one under playhead 2. So I need to make this clip active by making that playhead active. I click on that. It makes the adjustment layer active. I'm going to make the clip active instead. I'm going to apply the look from where this playhead is hovering there, from here onto that clip that's active. And to do that, all I need to do is click on this little button here, the Match Look button. Now, I've mentioned before that there's a bug associated with this. Well, now Adobe has acknowledged that it is in fact a bug, and they do plan to fix it. By the time you see this video, they may have fixed it. But in case they haven't, I'm going to show you the workaround here now. To do this, I just click on the button, and that should be all. But in fact, it doesn't work here because of the bug. And so to fix that, I go down here to the Auto Color Match layer that was just added here. Click on that and delete it. And then go back up here and click that button again, and voila, it's taken care of. Now, this is the one that's changed, and that's the original. So you've got this sort of orange color in the shirt there, and this kind of magenta-like color in the shirt. So this match did not go perfectly. So I want to try to match this side now to that side. So I want to go down to the primary layer for that clip there that I want to fix. And I want to adjust things. I want to make that shirt maybe less magenta and more orange. Now I can just do that and try to eyeball these guys from a distance like that. But it works much better if I can put them up next to each other. And I can do that using the split screen approach. The split screen button is right there. Click on that. And now those guys are side by side in a split screen mode. It looks like one image, right? But I'll slide this to the left and right. You'll see that it's not. I want to put it right over her shirt like that. So I can look at the one on the left that I'm fixing versus the one on the right that is the original color. Now I can see them a little bit better together. This thing needs to be a little bit less magenta and more orange. So I've got that clip selected. I'm going to go down to the midtones here and start pulling it toward orange a little bit, away from magenta. Hold on the Shift key to make it go faster. Pretty close there. I'm not trying to do it perfectly here because we need to move right along, but that looks pretty good. Now to really check my work, I'm going to take that little slider there, which divides the left and the right, and move it over to the rocks. And you can hardly tell there's a difference there. But I think there's a slight tonality difference. So I'm going to go check the tonality here of this clip and see that it's not quite fully bright and not quite down to 0 there. So I'll drop the offset just a bit. If I go a lot, you'll see that it gets really dark there. Right about there. And lift this up just a little bit on the gain. Let me expand the view by clicking this little button there, pressing the W key. Bring the gain up a bit. If I go really far, you see that we can get a distinct border there. But right about there, can't tell there's a difference, then you've done a pretty good job. And there's barely a difference there. Use the split screen to kind of compare left to right. You get a better chance of lining things up when they're side by side like this. All right, let's move on down the line here. I want to go past this other person here and come back to her later. Going down to the vineyard here. I want to take this vineyard here, move this to the middle so you can see it better. This one here is our source. I want to actually go to the next vineyard shot, so I want to disconnect these two playheads by clicking that little triangle there. Slide you there. And I want to have this guy get changed to that. Now the way it's set up here I think is the best way to do it, so we don't see the tree on the left-hand side here. If I move this to the left, there's a tree there. Now if the playheads were reversed, let's say we're like this, you're trying to go from there to there, that tree would not be very helpful if you want to look at the RGB parade or the parade here when you're doing your work. So you can always switch these guys like that. You can adjust where they show up inside the split screen. Okay, so the one on the right here is this guy here, and that's our source. And the one on the left is the one we want to fix. So I'm going to take a look at the source in the parade. So I'm going to click on U, that's the source. There's a full range of red, a little bit above 100 there. Full range of green, not quite as high as the red, and then the blue is kind of dropping off there, and that is the source. If I look at the target, you can see there's way too much red. not anywhere near enough green and not anywhere near enough blue. So I'm going to use the sliders to do this work. Go on down here and click on the sliders button and start making some changes here. So I need to scroll down to unlink them. And we'll work here inside the overall side of things. We could work inside the individual shadows, midtones, and highlights, but we'll stick with working here in the overall side of things. I'm going to go back and check again. Here's the red, green, and blue. Here's where we're going. Need to bring the red down a bit. We'll do the whole thing down, so we use the offset to bring red down. A lot of it like that. Brings the red down as the offset, so it slides everything evenly. Let's take a look at the blue here. Blue needs to go up quite a bit. So bring the blue offset up. I think the green's okay down there at the bottom, but maybe we need to lift the green a little bit in the highlights. So go to the green in the highlights here and drag that to the right here a little bit. And let's take a look again at the original. The blue needs to spread out a bit. So let's spread the blue out by lifting its gain quite a bit. Reasonably close. Obviously we could work on this some more, but I want to show you the process of how you can use the parade and compare the target here to the source and try to get them to line up as long as the images are pretty much the same from the left to the right. All right, let's go on down a little bit farther here. Another example. Down to the dining room like so. Here we have a neutral reference. We've got this tablecloth. It can be kind of a dull white, but it shouldn't be orange like that. And I think if we move the playheads, we're going to get more tablecloth than this side here. So I'm going to take this playhead here, disconnect this guy, move it over here, take this one and move it over there. Now I think we have more of an equal shot at the tablecloth there, left to right like that. So now we can compare this to that. So 2 here is the source, and 1 is the target. So I want to work on this one and adjust that color. So I'm going to do that back inside the color wheels by clicking on you. I could have done it in the sliders, but I'm going to do it in the color wheels. I'm going to work on these little guys up here and adjust the temperature. If I look at the parade, you see we're really heavy in red here. I go back and look at the source, not so heavy in red. Red and green are pretty much equal, and blue kind of drops off. Over here again, we need to bring the red way down. So I'm going to pull over here away from red, bring it down so it's almost equal with green. Now you see how things are kind of lining up. I'm looking at the tablecloth to see how I'm doing. That's my reference. I can determine whether I've gone too far or not. So if you do have something that's a neutral color that you can use as a reference, go ahead and do that. So that works out pretty well. You can see how those two things line up reasonably well there. All right, I'm going to show you one more thing. We're going to use the automatic match look approach using a look we've created manually elsewhere. So I'm going to open up this little view over here by clicking that triangle or pressing the W key. We want to have the snapshots panel open here. Now I've navigated to the Working Files Assets folder, and I would ask you to do the same thing. Inside the Assets folder, there is this little clip there. It says Matching Example, and it's showing up inside here. Now, no other files are showing up there, only this file. We know that the Assets folder is full of assets, but that's the only one that's showing up here. And it's doing that for a reason. Now I'm going to show you what that reason is. I'm going to minimize SpeedGrade here, open up the Working Files, and go to the Assets. Scrolling down here a little bit. And there's that matching example thing we just saw there. In fact, what we saw was the matching example JPEG. The matching example TGA or target file is what this thing started its life as. And the reason we can see it is because there's this file here called snapshots.speedgrade. Now I've put this file in here. You can put that file anywhere you want. Wherever you put it, if you add a TGA file to that folder, SpeedGrade automatically will add a JPEG version of that file that you can see inside that little window over there, inside the snapshots window. And then you can use that TGA file to apply its look and feel to another clip. So in this case, I took a still frame from the video, opened it up inside Photoshop, applied curves to it, and really adjusted curves to have a high contrast, kind of leaned things toward yellow just to make it extremely different than a typical shot, and then saved that as a TGA file. And then I put it in this folder, and I got the snapshots.speedgrade file from a different folder, from the default folder, which is really a long file folder name to tell you where it is. But you can always copy and paste this file and put it wherever you want and add TGA files there. So let's go back to SpeedGrade. And there is that thumbnail, that JPEG file. And I want to use the TGA file associated with that to apply a look. To do that, I need to turn off to up. I want to move to the file that I want to fix. I'm going to go down here to her, where she's a little bit too purple. I want to apply this look to her. It's kind of that extreme high contrast yellowy kind of look. To do that, I just make this active. That automatically opens it up here. Since we're in the split screen mode, you see it like that. This is the look we're going to apply. And now all we need to do is click on this button, which becomes active even though there's only one playhead. This is the only time that button will become active when there's one playhead, and that's when you've got this little file down here that has the SpeedGrade snapshots file associated with it. And all I need to do is click on that, and we apply that look to her. That's another way to create a look and feel for a clip that you like, save it as a TGA file, and then apply that to any video clip here inside SpeedGrade. So as you can see, there are multiple ways to apply the look and feel of one clip to another to match clips inside SpeedGrade.